The slaughter of the Knezes refers to the organized assassinations and assaults of notable Serbs in the Sanjak of Smederevo in January 1804 by the Dahije, the renegade Janissary officers who ruled the Sanjak independently and in defiance to the Sultan after taking it over in 1801. Fearing that the Sultan would make use of the Serbs to oust them, they decided to execute leading Serbs throughout the Sanjak. A total of 72 notable Serbs were assassinated, and their heads were put on public display. Notable victims were Aleksa, Nenadović and Ilija Birčanin. The event triggered the first Serbian uprising, aimed at putting an end to the centuries of Ottoman occupation. Background: in 1788, Koka's frontier rebellion saw most of Šumadija occupied by the Serbian Free Corps, a volunteer militia loyal to the Austrians. Belgrade was besieged by Austrian forces in late 1789, occupied until 1791 when it was handed back to the Ottomans after concluding peace. In 1793 and 1796, Sultan Selim III proclaimed firmans which gave more rights to Serbs. Among other things, taxes were to be collected by the Knezes. Freedom of trade and religion were granted and there was peace. Each village had a Knez and 10 villages had an Knez. Selim III also decreed that some unpopular Janissaries were left the Sanjak of Smederevo as he saw them as a threat to the central authority of Hadzi Mustafa Pasha, the governor. Many of those Janissaries were employed by or found refuge with Osman Patsvantiglu, a renegade opponent of Selim III in the Sanjak of Vidin. Fearing the dissolution of the Janissary command in the Sanjak of Smederevo, Osman Patsvantiglu launched a series of raids against Serbians without the permission of Selim III, causing much volatility and fear in the region. Patsvantiglu was defeated in 1793 by a Serbian contingent at the Battle of Kolari. In the summer of 1797 the Sultan appointed Mustafa Pasha on position of Biglavag of Rumelia Ayale, and he left Serbia for Plovdiv to fight against Patsvantiglu and his rebels. During the absence of Mustafa Pasha, the forces of Patsvantiglu captured Požarevac and besieged the Belgrade fortress. Mustafa Pasha planned to raise taxes in order to pay for the operations against the Janissary rebels. However, he was persuaded by the Serbian Knezes to rely on them on mustering a force of the local population. The Serbians were able to collect 10,000 fighters. At the end of November 1797, Oba Knezes Aleksa Nenadović, Ilija Birčanin and Nikola Grabović from Valjevo brought the forces to Belgrade and forced the besieging Janissary forces to retreat to Smederevo. By 1799 the Janissary corps had returned, as they were pardoned by the Sultan's decree, and they immediately suspended the Serbian autonomy and drastically increased taxes, enforcing martial law in Serbia. On 15 December 1801 Mustafa Pasha was assassinated by Kuchuk Alija, one of 4 Dahije. The Dahije henceforth ruled the Sanjak independently of and in defiance to the Sultan. The tyranny endured by the Serbs caused them to send a petition to the Sultan, which the Dahije learnt of. According to Leopold von Ranke, the Dahije started to fear that the Sultan would make use of the Serbs to oust them. To forestall this, they decided to execute leading Serbs throughout the Sanjak. In fact, the Dahije learned of a conspiracy between the Serbians and Mustafa Pasha's associates to rise against the Dahije, forged in 1803. A letter to an Austrian officer inviting for conflict, most likely written by Hadzi Ruvim, was intercepted. History: the Dahije sent secret orders to the Mutsulums to kill each of the Knez on the given day. It seems that Mehmed Aga Fosik was tasked with overseeing the operation. The victims were Oba Knezes, Knezes Buljubasis and other chosen people. Most of the Knezes were killed on the 23rd of January, while Hadzi was killed on the 29th of January. By the 25th of January, the Dahije decided that notable Serbs were to be beaten, so that what was left would become real rare to serve the Turks well. Other Ottoman lords then began to attack chosen notable people in the districts. Karađorđe survived attempts. According to contemporary accounts, heads were put on public display at the Valjevo town square to serve as an example to those who might plot against the rule of the Dahije. By the 4th of February 72, decapitated heads were brought to Belgrade. List of victims: Knezes Aleksa Nenadović of Tamnava Pasava in the Valjevo Nahija, Knezes Ilija Birčanin of Podgora in the Valjevo Nahija, Knezes Stanoje Mihajlović of Kolubara in the Belgrade Nahija, Knezes Terovan of Orosja in the Smederevo Nahija, Knezes Peter of Rasava in the Jagodina Nahija, Knezes Marko Karapag of Beli Potok in the Belgrade Nahija, Knezes Stefan Andrejević Palalia of Bagaljica in the Groka Nahija, Knezes Jovan Buljuk Basa Marta of Lipovac in the Kragujevac Nahija, Buljuk Basa Gavrilo Budovac, Kmet Janko Gajic of Bolek in the Groka Nahija, Hegeman Hadzi of the monastery Moravica, Archimandrite Hadzi of the monastery Bogovica,